Hi, everyone. Maggie O here with Homeschool with Maggie O, and we're continuing our science curriculum review series. Today, we're taking a look at Master Books Science. This is one where I want to do something just a little bit differently at the beginning because Master Books doesn't have just one science curriculum. When you get onto their website in just a moment, we're going to go there. You're going to see several different science series and several choices within some of the same grade ranges. So, if you've ever gone onto the Master Books website and thought, okay, which one of these am I actually supposed to buy? That's what I want to help you understand today. And remember that we're not trying to determine whether Master Books is the best science curriculum. We're looking for fit. We're going to look at the age and grade ranges, teaching approaches, parent involvement, hands on component, independence, worldview, and how the program changes as your student gets older. So let's go take a look. Let me share my screen and we'll get right over there to it. I actually want to begin right here because this page gives us a good bird's eye view of Master Book Science. And one of the first things Master Books tells us is that you may see multiple science options within your student's grade. And you can see that. That does not mean you need all of them. I want to say that again. This doesn't mean that you need all of them. These are different curriculum choices. So we're going to separate these into three general stages: elementary, middle school, and high school. So let's start here for elementary students. You're going to see several choices. There is Let's Talk About Science, God's Design, and then there are additional specialty courses in areas like anatomy, zoology, paleontology, and soil, sea, and sky. So already this is quite different from buying a curriculum labeled simply third grade science. Let's begin with Let's Talk Science. This is a series. And this is one of Master Book's elementary science series. It currently runs from level K through grade 4. And I want you to notice that although each level has an ideal grade, Master Books gives you a range around that level. For example, level 1 is ideally first grade, but it's designed for roughly K through 2 range. Level 2 is ideally second grade, but it gives you the grade range 1 through 3. You see that? It's giving you the range. And that continues as we move through the series. And something else that I want you to notice is lesson length. Lesson length. This column right here. These are intentionally fairly short lessons. The early levels are generally just 20 minutes. Levels 3 and 4 closer to about 20 to 30 minutes. And depending upon the level, students are working science anywhere from 2 to 5 days per week. For a younger child, I actually like seeing realistic lesson lengths. Science does not have to become an hour-long event every day in kindergarten or a first grader. Now look at what they're studying. Here is the topics right here. These aren't simply books full of science facts. These are hands-on and project-based elements built into the courses. Students may be building models, growing plants, working with simple machines, creating a volcano or solar system model, studying ecosystems, doing chemistry activities, and eventually working more intentionally with the scientific method. And you'll notice that science notebooking throughout the series as well. This is a really good chart. It just really lays everything out for you. So you have your level, your grade level range, your ages, the days per week and the lesson length. You have your topics, project based learning highlights, notebooking format here, and then the online course, whether yay or nay. In the earlier levels, students can save their completed worksheets in a 3-ring binder to create a science notebook. By levels 3 and 4, there's a more open ended science notebook component. Let's look at level 1 here so we can see what it actually looks like. It's colorful. Yeah, let's see, it's not letting me progress that anymore.
I'm Kitty. And I'm Micah. And we're inviting you to join us on an adventure. What was that you asked? What kind of adventure? The best kind of adventure. A science adventure.
I highly recommend that you check that out. So, this was the Adventures in Creation, level 1, as an example, approximately for ages 5 through 7. The course is designed for 3 days per week with lessons that take about 20 minutes, and the entire course is contained in the full color workbook. And here's a look inside. We can see a little bit more here. It's very colorful. It's easy to read and follow. Let's find like some of the lessons. I like this. This is your materials list. And it spoon feeds it to you. That's awesome. Here's your schedule. How we study science. So this is for level 1. So don't make your curriculum decision from the cover. Go inside there. You have access to all of this, just like I'm showing you right now. I love the illustrations also that was in there in the activities. And you just want to make sure that you're, thinking about your child as you look through this. Could they engage with this? Would they enjoy it? Does the page feel inviting to them, or does it feel too busy? Also, think about yourself and how you like to teach and what your philosophy is. Does this look like something you could realistically teach consistently? You're going to see that the biblical worldview is not hidden. That was one thing, too, that did pop out at me. They're not bashful about it. You know what I mean? To get to this, it's right there. They're not apologetic about it. It's integrated into the lessons. Master Books describes this course as teaching children how science supports the biblical account of God's creation. There are biblical passages and biblical concepts incorporated into the science. So, worldview is something we're going to talk about again when we get into the curriculum fit lens. Now let's look at another master books option because this is where parents can become confused. So let's go here to God's Design Science Series. And one of the biggest distinctions here is family style learning. This series is designed so that children of different ages can study the same science topic together. For younger students, there are beginner books, and then there are standard books for older students. The schedules can be synchronized, so siblings are studying the same general subject at the same time, but working at an appropriate level. And here you can see that chart. For example, you'll see God's design for life um, right here. That's life science, tells you that right here. You're studying things like plants, the human body, and animals. Then there's God designed for heaven and earth right here. And that's moving us into areas like weather, water, the universe, and planet Earth. And then we have God's design for the physical world. And God's design for chemistry and ecology. And always pay attention to your grade range and your ages. And these are the three major units. And then you have these are the beginners books. And then here you have standard books. So if you have multiple children and you really want science to be something that you do together as a family, I would absolutely investigate God's Designer series, automatically choosing one of the grade specific Let's Talk Science books. That's a perfect example of how two curricula from the same publisher can still be a better or worse fit depending upon your family. Oh, and I want to also put on that God's design also incorporates hands on activities and experiments. Um, they also have a placement guide right here. This is important. You've heard me say this before. When they offer you something like that, utilize that. That is such a good um, offer for you. And basically, they tell you all about it right here. And again, this is a Christian science taught from a biblical creationist worldview. And Master Books describes the courses as open and go with schedules and lesson plans already built for the parents. So I just think you should spend some time in here if this sounds appealing to you. Um, that in that will help you a lot. So now let's just go to this other tab here. We're talking about general science. And this is for the older grades. Master Books currently has General Science 1 and General Science 2. These are recommended for grades 7 through 12. So let's see here. I wanted to show you this. And here it shows you everything that you're getting in there. Let's see here. Um, the general science is called Survey of Earth and Sky. Students study four major areas: oceans, astronomy, weather, and minerals. Each of these becomes essentially 1/4 of the year's science study. So each one of these is a quarter of the year. Lessons are scheduled 5 days per week and are designed to take approximately 30 to 45 minutes. Master Books lists this is 1 year, one credit course. And then we can go back up here to, here we go, to 2. This is General Science 2. And here we're looking at caves, archaeology, fossils, and geology. And again, we're looking at a biblical worldview throughout the material. And here you can look inside. You can go through these and look actually inside. And notice what you're actually purchasing here. General Science isn't simply one enormous textbook. For example, General Science 1 uses separate books covering oceans, astronomy, weather, and minerals, along with a teacher guide. The teacher guide provides the schedule, worksheets, quizzes, tests, and answer keys. And once again, look at the samples. Master Books puts substantial samples under a look inside, and that's down in here. Use them before you buy. This becomes especially important when we're talking about a 7th, 8th, ninth, or 10th grader. Let your older student look at the material with you. Now let's move into formal high school science. Master Books has what it calls the Master Class series, which includes biology, chemistry, and physics. I'm using biology here as our example today. You can look inside here. This course is designed for 9th through 12th, and it's a 36-week biology course. And this is where we're moving into a much more traditional high school science experience. Students are studying cells, ecosystems, biomes, genetics, DNA, plants, animals, biology, and biological origins. They're also completing laboratory work, and that includes things such as microscope work and dissection skills. Students are expected to complete approximately 5 hours of coursework per week. And here it shows you what's included, your optional resources, your course credit, and here is your table of contents. And again, pay attention to what you actually need. For the biology course, Master Book says the student text and the teacher guide are required. The teacher guide contains worksheets, quizzes, exams, and answer keys. And there are also optional resources, including supply kits, microscope resources, which is pretty cool, and video instruction. So again, don't look at the price of one textbook and assume that's the entire course. Figure out which component your student actually needs. And now this is another component I want parents to know exists. Master Books has Master Books Academy. There are optional video-based courses that accompany many of the curricula. And there are science options from elementary and middle school all the way through high school. You can see them all here. You'll see Let's Talk Science courses, God's Design courses, and then courses like biology and chemistry and physics, general science, and others for older students. These are self-paced. Master Books currently gives students 18 months of access after enrolling. And there's something I really like for curriculum research. You can register for free and preview the first lesson or first week of an academy course before purchasing it. I love that. So if you're thinking, I really like the Master Books curriculum, but I would like somebody else to provide some of the instruction, I would absolutely preview the academy option before making your decision. But I want to point out an important distinction. Don't automatically assume online course means the entire subject is being outsourced. The Master Books Academy is supplemental video instruction. The science curriculum and its required materials are still the foundation of the course. So look carefully at exactly what's included in the particular academy course that you're considering. Okay, let's put Master Book Science through my Maggie O curriculum fit lens. Let's talk about teaching approach first. This varies by series. Let's talk science is short lessons, short story oriented, notebooking, hands on science for youngsters. God's design gives you a family style approach that allows multiple ages to study together. And general science becomes more structured for junior high school and high school students. And master class moves into formal high school laboratory science. The parental involvement for younger students, expect parental involvement. You're going to be doing the reading, discussing, and helping with activities and overseeing the experiments. God's design can actually simplify parent involvement if you're teaching multiple children because you're combining science rather than teaching three separate science courses. As students get older, the courses become increasingly independent, and Master Books Academy can provide additional video support. Learning style fit. I think Master Books can be particularly appealing for visual learners because so many of the books are full of color and highly illustrated. Hands on learners have experiments and projects. Children who enjoy notebooking have opportunities to record and organize what they're learning. And students who benefit from hearing or seeing instruction may benefit from adding Master Books Academy. For the homeschool philosophy fit, I see this working particularly well for Christian eclectic homeschoolers. God's design can work beautifully for families who prioritize family style learning. The younger programs have elements that can appeal to families who like shorter lessons, narration, notebooking, and hands on exploration. And the older courses become increasingly structured and traditional. For the worldview, this is one of the most important things to understand about master books. This is distinctly Christian Science curriculum taught from a biblical creationist worldview. The biblical perspective is integrated throughout the science. It is not just simply a secular book with Bible verse placed at the beginning of the chapter. For families specifically looking for that worldview, this may be a major strength. For families wanting secular science, master books is not going to be the appropriate fit. For preparation, Master Books emphasizes open and go lessons and built in schedules. But science experiments still require supplies. So even with an open and go curriculum, I always recommend looking ahead at the upcoming experiments and gathering what you need before the school week begins. At the high school level, lab requirements become more significant. As far as independence goes, this increases as the student gets older. Younger elementary children will need you. Older students can take increasing responsibility for reading, worksheets, quizzes, and tests. And the academy option can add another layer of independence through video instruction. As far as flexibility goes, this is actually one of Masterbook's strengths. You don't have you don't have one single science pathway. You can choose a grade specific elementary progression. You can choose family style science or topic specific courses. You can move into general science and eventually into biology, chemistry, and physics. But that flexibility can also feel overwhelming when you first land on the website. So don't ask which master books science curriculum am I supposed to buy. Instead, ask which master book science option fits the way my family wants to learn. And who do I think master books may fit best? I would put master books on your research list if you want explicitly Christian biblical creationist science. You appreciate full color, visually engaging books. You want hands-on activities and experiments. You like built-in schedules and open and go structure. You want the option of family style science. You prefer relatively manageable lessons in the elementary years, or you want the ability to add video instruction without completely changing curriculum companies. Who may want to keep looking? I would keep comparing. If you want a secular science, if you prefer a worldview neutral presentation, if your child strongly dislikes workbook style assignments, you want science to be entirely online with essentially no parent oversight, or you want one simple curriculum sequence where there aren't multiple choices to sort through. And that's probably my biggest advice with master books. Don't buy simply because something says your child's grade. Use their comparison information. Look inside those books. Decide whether you want grade level science or family style science. Think about how much parent involvement you want, and then choose the course, because master books gives you options for sure. And options are only helpful when you choose them based on fit. So that's our look at master book science. And now we've already seen three very different ways homeschool families can approach science through the good and the beautiful, apologia, and master books. All three can work beautifully for the right family, and all three could be completely wrong for another family. That's why we're not looking at the curriculum everybody else says is the best. We're looking for the one that fits your child and your teaching style, your family's worldview, and your homeschool goals. I'm Maggie O with Homeschool with Maggie O, your homeschool mentor. And I'll see you inside our next science curriculum review. Until next time, happy homeschooling.